I have to admit, here's one that I am excited about. And as usual, it was held up at our post office for almost a week. It's always the ones I'm looking forward to that it happens to. Hi, my name is Amy Vishwanatha, and you're watching Techie Housewife. Okay, here it is. This is the Gameforce Chi. I bought it from the Gameforce website itself, and I will put that link in the description below for you. Now this does have the RK3226 processor, the same as most of the other popular handhelds, including one of my most recent additions, the RGB 10 Max. I will also put the link for that review in the description below. Now, Gameforce Chi also has built-in Wi-Fi, which is pretty handy if you ask me. It's useful for updates, downloading themes, box art, or even playing some connected online games. One other thing I do want to mention is make sure you do keep in mind that this is not just a pick up and play device like many of the others. It is possible that in the future some retailers may sell it that way, but don't fret. It's pretty simple to build an Emulek based SD card, which I have ready to use. Now, since all those formalities are done, let's get right to it. So as you can see, it comes with a really cool case. The only box that came in was the shipping box, and let me tell you, that was interesting to get open. I had to manhandle the box to get it open, but let's do this. So it didn't come with any pics or specs or anything, but I do know what it looks like because obviously I ordered online. So let's open this up here. Nice little cloth for cleaning the screen. We have our little manual, and looks like that's got something in there. Okay, and then we have our little USB-C cable. I'll just put that back up in there. And actually, check out this little case. They have this in there for securing it, so if you have it in there and it happens to be unzipped when you pick it up, it's not going anywhere. Now, one thing I will tell you is I picked this color because green is my absolute favorite color. Oh, feel that material. Wow. But what I was saying a second ago, my favorite color is green, and this is a beautiful, beautiful green color. So first, let me turn it on here. Well, would you look at that? No micro SD card. What did we do? Well, I did cover that a second ago. And I do have my little card here ready to go. We have our power button, SD card slot. We have our home button, start select, and a couple of extra buttons there. And oh my goodness, this is only at 1%. That is interesting. Most devices come pretty charged, like at least halfway. But let's just take a look at the buttons and everything. Okay. You'll see we have two speakers here. The D-pad, which actually, it has a nice tension to it. Looks like it's pretty responsive. It has that nice feel, like that nice kind of a bounce back that you expect from a good D-pad. These I'm a little concerned with, actually, just by touching them and looking at them. As soon as I put my fingers on them, I don't know if you can see the way they just kind of move back and forth so easy. Oh, okay. The analog sticks, or thumbsticks, whichever you prefer to call them, they move super easy, kind of loose a little, and they don't like click. You can't push down on them for anything. It feels sturdy. It feels pretty well built. The triggers, or shoulder buttons, whichever you prefer to call them, they feel pretty good. Super responsive, actually. I think that the device, the material that's been used to create the device is excellent. It has such a great feel, and I do like I do like these. I don't know what you would really call them, maybe a shoulder rest or something. I'm not sure, but I do like the way that kind of tilts it forward a tad bit. Let's look at the bottom here. We have our USB-C charging port, and we have our headphone jack, which totally makes sense on the bottom, so you don't have to cross over the screen, which I mentioned on something I recently reviewed. Okay, brightness is at 100%. So this is solid, sturdy, well built, and with that green color, it's almost magical. Just kidding, but I really love the color. And I love the feel of the material. The thumbsticks could be a little bit better, I think. They are responding pretty good. I like that soft, it's kind of a soft rubbery feel even on the thumbsticks. So as I was mentioning before, until I actually play a game, I'm not too sure how I'm going to feel about these buttons on this side here. Okay, first thing I noticed about the screen is it is not as vibrant as some screens that I've seen. It does look crisp, and the hues are pretty nice. It doesn't look like really washed out or anything. It looks pretty good. It's not the absolute best when it comes to like a contrasty and vibrant screen, but it is still pretty eye-pleasing. So the screen is similar to the RG351V, except this is a horizontal layout, which is similar to Retroid Pocket 2. The screen ratio on this is 4:3, which is suitable for emulating the older consoles. You don't have to see the border surrounding the games like you would on a wider screen. But on a wider screen, you can actually download and configure bezels quite easy and give it a nicer look. So if you just want to take a look here, we can kind of compare the size of the screen. This is a 3:2 and this is 4:3. You can see a bit of a difference there. I wanted to take a look at these side by side to give you an idea of the size of the screen. And as you will see, it's a little more difficult to see the screen on here, and it looks like that's because, I guess, staying true to the old games, like a Game Boy Advance, which is what this shape does put me in mind of, totally like 90s, early 2000s, but it does have a glass overlay, so you're not directly looking at the screen itself. Where this, you're pretty much looking at the screen. So that's why you don't see the hues and the vibrant colors like you would on a device like this. What is surprising to me is because of the glass that's overlaying the screen, that when I tilt it this far, I can still see the screen pretty good. I can see it that way as well. It might be a little difficult if I go too much farther back, and side to side, you can still pretty clearly see it. Let's see how easy this is to use. So far, it's pretty simple once you get that SD card in there. It goes through the menus pretty quick. I really think I like this D-pad. It feels good. And the thumbsticks, they're not as rubbery as some of them, so your fingers may slide slightly, but they are a super soft material, which I really like. They're not plasticky, and if it was more plasticky, then it may be a lot more slippery. So I went into the Emulec settings. Here's one of the reasons that I really think I'm going to love this. This is why. I don't know how well you can see that, but I just love the idea of having the buttons lit up in different colors. Like right now I picked cyan. And if you can see that, I think red shows up better. And actually it's Christmas colors, yes. So I admit this is one of the reasons I think I will love it. And funny enough, this is the reason that some people actually don't like it, which surprises me. And just FYI, the volume is at 80% and it's very difficult to hear. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. And we have two speakers here. Okay. Like any other RK32260 devices, this will emulate up to PS1 really well, as you can see. But it's well known that for N64, Dreamcast, and those type of games that you don't get 100% performance. Some may play okay, but your mileage may vary, and we'll take a look at those actually. I will tell you that these buttons are causing a little bit of trouble right off the bat. because they come out so far and they wiggle so much, it's not responding to like how I normally play. And let's watch this again here. Okay. I hit the B to jump, and then there we go. We did it that time. But I think it's going to take a bit of getting used to. I hope it gets better because I really like the way this looks. I can't tell that it's the buttons themselves per se. They're protruding so much that by the time your thumb actually pushes it down, I think that it's causing a delay. I don't know that it's the device itself. It feels like it's not responding when I hit it because it has so far to travel. Maybe it has something to do with the LED lights behind it. I'm not positive. So home and start takes us out. Let's try Game Boy game because we have the 4:3 screen ratio. So of course, okay. Now since I'm really only pushing the button for shooting, it seems to be doing okay here. Though I'm getting killed because I'm talking. This does give you a bit of a nostalgic feeling while you're playing it because it's so like playing a Game Boy Advance. So I'm really curious about the performance on an N64 game. We will try Mario 64 for this. Okay, here we go. It's just taking a little while. Well, as you can hear right away, there is a problem with the audio while playing this, and that's to be expected. That's what usually happens. I will say this is playing a lot longer than I thought it would on 1%. As you can probably tell, it's quite slow. You can hear the audio that's distorted and breaking up. I don't think we really need to go too much farther. It took a second for him to start walking. And you can definitely tell there is quite the difference here. And that's basically what I wanted to see. It is pretty much what I thought, that it looks like N64 games will not be too playable on here. Since this looks so much like the Game Boy Advance, I of course have to play the Game Boy Advance game. It's only proper. And of course, since this is a Game Boy Advance game, it should definitely play up to full potential. We can already see a huge difference in how fast the game is moving compared to what Mario 64 was. It's just trudging right along. It's playing beautifully. Perfect, actually, very well. And it looks great on here. And let's also play the Sonic game. As you can already tell, it's super slow to load and we had a little bit of glitchiness happening here. I don't think this one is going to play. Okay, so this is pretty much unplayable. Let's check out a PlayStation game real quick. And PlayStation should play pretty well on here. It's pretty responsive. It's loading fast and it looks like there's pretty smooth transitioning here. PlayStation seems to be working really well. Like, at least for the loading part. Let's go up here and see how I do now. Yeah. Nice.
Die, monster. You don't belong in this world.
So let's just test the volume again. Remember, it was at 80%. Now I have it up to 100%. So, not the greatest speakers, I would say, but they work. There is something about holding this in your hand. I remember that first Game Boy Advance I had, and this is just giving me the experience that I used to have back in the day. Okay, do I recommend this? The answer is Of course, as a collector, yes. But then if you're overly picky, I'm not sure how much you would actually like it. What I love about this device is the material that it's made out of, how sturdy it is, how the quality of the material that they've used is really, really good. It's great. It's sturdy, like there's no bending at all. And it's pleasant to hold in your hands and to touch. It's not really a rubberized feeling. There is a texture to this that's really unique and comfortable. I love that the buttons are LED lit. It's one of my favorite things about it. I, however, am not a big fan of these buttons. I kind of hate them. And that is because when you're playing the game, it's not getting each press of your thumb when you hit it. And I believe that's because how far they're protruding. I mean, it's even diagonal here. I don't have to touch it, and it's totally like weird, like it's totally facing a weird way, and they are very jiggly. The buttons need to be much better. The thumbsticks are adequate. Nothing to really write home about. I do like the material that they've used on these. It's quite nice. And your fingers do not slide off very much. I mean, they're not really slippery. The D-pad is really good. The trigger buttons are excellent. And I really do like, I don't know, maybe I should call them shoulder pads, you know. I really like the way it kind of tilts the system up if you're just resting it on the table or something. I didn't care for the speakers. They weren't loud enough. It was a clear sound, but not really crisp and sharp. N64, if you don't mind playing super slow and listening to a lot of distorted audio, you'll be good. But Dreamcast basically is not playable whatsoever on here. SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and PlayStation, they worked excellent. No complaints whatsoever. They were overachievers there, but that's to be expected as well. I don't know that I've quite made up my mind yet whether I extremely love it or just like it a little bit. There are things that I really do like a lot about it. So I'm really torn, and I didn't think I would be. I think if these buttons were better, I would love this device like crazy. And extra volume would be good too. The screen isn't over vibrant. It's not super contrasty, but the display is pretty and it doesn't look overly washed out. But again, we have this glass overlaid just like you would on Game Boy Advance. And I don't think there's too much we can do about the buttons because again, they are the LED buttons. So I would kind of be afraid to go in and mess with it. I may have to hide it. Now I will get a shot of this in the dark with no lights on so you can get an idea of what it actually looks like with the LEDs lit up in a completely dark setting. Right now I have too many lights here and it's not possible. So I will do that and I will pop it up here so y'all can see it. So what do you think about GameForce Qi? Is it something that you would like? Would the buttons bother you as much as they do me? Maybe not, but can you hear that? Thank you for watching. Please share this video with your friends. And as always, have a game-tastic day.